Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to News Tonight, this Tuesday, the 4th of July, 2023. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni, the lady herself, joins us for sign language interpretation. Minister for Presidency, Babidi Emily Babalanda, has criticized public servants who dissociate themselves from the National Resistance Movement system. Babalanda says that such public servants forget that when the ruling party sinks, they also drown along with their colleagues in government.
The administrative officers attending the workshop include undersecretaries, principal assistant secretaries, senior assistant secretaries, and assistant secretaries from all government ministries, departments, and agencies. The minister also noted that the NRM government has largely been let down by the civil servants who frustrate policies crafted by politicians.
This image of the public service starts with you and me. My humble appeal to all of you is to ensure that we help government to achieve this. Let us all work hard to kick corruption out of Uganda.
Babalanda reminded the administrative officers of the four core principles of the NRM, which include patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy.
Ought to serve with passion, commitment, competence, and focus, despite the different challenges that the public service is going through. This is because you have a very big contribution to make towards the achievements of government's promises to Ugandans.
She also commended the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, the Inspector General of Government IGG, the Director of Public Prosecutions DPP, and the Anti-Corruption Court for the energy invested in fighting corruption. Haj Kakande, the Permanent Secretary Office of the President, revealed that they have an oversight role on the whole government, so they must have representatives in all the ministries, and these are administrative offices.
There was anxiety among General Muhoozi Kainerugaba supporters in Oyam district as President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni headed to the area on an NRM campaign trail for candidate Okello Samuel Engola Jr. The MK supporters had come to Boma grounds and outside the home of the late Charles Engola, demanding to interact with the president, who accepted.
In the afternoon of 4th July 2023, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the National Resistance Movement Party chairman, landed at Goma grounds in Oyam district. Present at Boma grounds to receive the president were also supporters of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the senior presidential advisor on special operations. As his convoy set off to the late former Labour State Minister Charles Engola Okello's home, where the president was to lay a wreath at his grave, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's supporters escorted the president. Jubilations and chanting was the order of the day as they waited for the president outside Engola's premises. Moments later, the president made his way out only to be met by cheering crowds. Mr. Museveni, through the open roof of his official car, addressed them. For General Muhoozi Kainerugaba supporters, this was their message to the head of state.
The only person who can do that is Muhoozi Kainerugaba. As youth, we must be ready and we must prepare ourselves in time. We are aware that in future, General Museveni will leave power. But when he leaves power, we as the youth must be ready to take up the mantle from where we have left it.
The team was under the guidance of the MK Movement Vice Chairperson for Western Uganda, Balam Barugahara. This was a sign of relief to the first son loyalties, who later let the president proceed for the official campaign program of the day in the two sub-counties of Icheme and Otwal, where he campaigned for NRM's Okello Samuel Engola Jr. Voting in Oyam North County Parliamentary by-election will be on Thursday, 6th July 2023. Campaigns have ended today, July 4th. Joshua Kagoro, Rob News.
President Yoweri Museveni has shared his vision for the development and progress of Oyam district and underscored the importance of unity within the NRM party. Museveni highlighted the need for the strong leadership at both the national and local levels, endorsing Charles Engola Jr. as the ideal representative for the people of Oyam. The president made the remarks in Oyam while campaigning for Charles Engola Jr., the NRM flag bearer for Oyam North constituency.
President Yoweri Museveni, also chairman of the NRM party, landed in Oyam district to campaign for Charles Engola Jr., the NRM flag bearer. The president's convoy made through a cheering crowd. At Icheme and Tegonyi primary schools in Otwal sub-county, passionate NRM party supporters greeted President Museveni with ululations and chants. President Museveni later addressed the gathering, who were draped in NRM colors and waving party flags.
Sometimes children do their own things different from their fathers. If he doesn't perform well, he's the one to blame. You will get marks because you voted for the one who was near Okelo Engola. If he disappoints us, it will be his problem, not our problem. For us, we have supported him. Then we shall, that's not the end of the world, we shall sort it.
President Museveni appreciated the warm reception and was confident in Charles Engola Jr.'s candidacy. He urged the people of Oyam to cast votes for the NRM flag bearer. The director of NRM mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, reassured the president that the mobilization strategy targeted victory in the election.
We are very optimistic that with his word and in addition to all the efforts and the work we have been able to do, we are very positive that we are going to win this election. By God's grace, we know we have God's hand and we know we have done our work. Our candidate, according to the debate they had yesterday, our candidate was rated almost 90% according to the public.
Seninde declared that NRM has gained momentum, so Charles Engola Jr. will win the Oyam North by election.
For instance, I have been here for over a month and I have seen these people, the people of Oyam are very receptive. They have received our candidate well and we are very optimistic that by God's grace we are going to win this election.
She emphasized that the NRM Secretariat had left no avenue unexplored, working tirelessly to ensure the electorate recognized Engola as the most suitable candidate for the district. Seninde urged the attendees to remain steadfast in their support for the NRM and to cast their votes decisively for Charles Engola Jr.
So we really believe, according to the public opinion, so we strongly believe that people have seen that the NRM candidate is the best candidate for this election. So we are very optimistic that we shall win this election by God's grace.
The work of preparing NRM candidates is spearheaded by the NRM Secretariat. NRM remains confident in their mobilization, which remains a tough point to success. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
President Yoweri Museveni has paid tribute to the late Honorable Colonel Charles Engola Machodogo for his tremendous contribution to the country. Museveni has this Tuesday, 4th July, commiserated with the family of the late minister in Oyam district as part of his long-day campaign tour in the area.
On his way to Oyam North County Parliamentary by-election campaign program for the NRM candidates, President Yoweri Museveni made a stopover at the late retired Colonel Charles Engola's home. Upon arrival at the home, President Museveni was received by the late's brother Samuel Engola and widow Joyce Aikoro Okelo. Here, the president laid the wreath at the late minister's grave, supported by a short prayer said by Reverend Canon George Amoli, the in charge of the Anglican Church in Oyam district. In his condoling message to the family, President Museveni praised the late Engola as one who offered a lot in the fields of economics and politics of Uganda and his region. He said Mr. Engola taught his home residents to move away from the subsistence agriculture and also worked hard to restore peace in Lango sub-region. Museveni further noted that Engola's contributions to his country was dated back to when he served as the LOC5 for Oyam district. President Museveni further commended the late Colonel retired Charles Engola for having taken up the gospel of teaching people how to generate income and not working for their stomach only. Museveni says that this did not only make him an NRM activist, but also a teacher who showed the people the way of fighting poverty. It is on this backdrop that the president encouraged the children of the late Engola, especially the NRM flag bearer, Engola Okello Samuel Jr., to keep the legacy of his father burning. He ended the visit by promising that on a later date he will hold further discussions with both the family and clan groups of the late Machodongo's line. Mr. Museveni later joined hundreds of NRM supporters to canvass for support for the late minister's son, Okello Samuel Engola Jr., who is seeking to replace the late father as Member of Parliament for Oyam North County. Robert Onyango.
The Chief of Defense Forces, General Wilson Mbadi, has asked participants at the ongoing operational expert legal advisors and commanders workshop to respect laws in an operational setting for the success of missions. UPDF Director of Training, Brigadier General Fred Twinamasiko, made the pronouncement at the Imperial Golf View Hotel in Entebbe while representing General Mbadi at the ongoing operational legal advisors experts workshop organized by the International Committee of the Red Cross. Twinamasiko mentioned that respecting laws builds respect for the mission when people are protected and victims of armed conflict are protected. Twinamasiko stressed that in 2006 the ICRC and the UPDF signed a directive on the requirement to ensure training of military personnel on international humanitarian law and a directive command to ensure dissemination of IHL to soldiers. He acknowledged the training provided by ICRC to all UPDF personnel on the international humanitarian law, human rights, refugee law, IDPs, supporting disaster activities and protection of civilians in times of armed conflict and post-conflict. The regional delegation to Uganda, Rwanda and Bujumbura, who is also the head of Operations Kampala, Mr. Martin Agura Oguya, said that they are gathered to engage in comprehensive exploration of issues surrounding the employment of operational legal advisors across the African region. He added that the workshop aims at undertaking the challenges and opportunities in this field and identify strategies to enhance the operational effectiveness of the legal advisors. He expressed his gratitude to the government of Uganda and host country and the Uganda People's Defense Forces for the proactive inputs. Martin Agura informed guests that the workshop has been carefully designed to cover a wide range of topics pertinent to the subject. He urged participants to foster an environment of open dialogue, knowledge sharing and collaborative problem solving. The 11 National Unity Platform supporters facing charges of unlawful possession of firearms at Nabweru Chief Magistrate's Court are likely to spend more time behind the bars. This follows prosecution to change lawyer from Sarah Namuwia to Deborah Itwau, who asked for more time to peruse through the accused's documents.
The 11 National Platform supporters have appeared at Nawel Chief Magistrates Court to proceed with the hearing of their bail application. However, prosecution led by Deborah Itwau objected to the application on grounds that the presiding prosecutor, Sarah Namobia, was transferred to another matter. With this, Itwau asked court for more time to analyze the accused's documents, since she is now the prosecutor in the matter. Court granted Itwau's prayers and adjourned the matter to the 18th of July 2023. Lawyers of the accused were dissatisfied with the way prosecution is handling the matter.
And there are no witnesses in the matter. This is not the first time. We have seen many incidences before where people have been remanded. They have been on remand for 7 years, 3 years, and by the time they are left free by the Director of Public Prosecutions, they have almost lost everything.
In our humble view, for adjournment, there was no reasonable cause. But this honorable court has no jurisdiction to entertain the matter before it. We had made earlier prayers that the matter be forwarded to the Constitutional Court by way of a reference for constitutional interpretation, condemning the practice of arraigning suspects before court without any evidence. And indeed, the prosecution on several occasions has failed to prosecute those cases. We are soon applying for bail before the High Court so that our clients can be released. They are enjoying the presumption of innocence, and the prosecution has failed to execute its duty.
Prosecution alleges that the accused were found in unlawful possession of firearms and bomb-making materials with the intention of disrupting the government. Meanwhile, March in the Chief Magistrates Court has set July 25th, 2023 for hearing of the case against events promoter Abi Musenguzi, alias Abitex. He is charged with negligence. Rebecca Natongo, Susan Nabgude, UBC News.
Government is to increase the number of High Court judges from 83 to 151 in a move to ease access to justice in the country. Parliament has agreed with the government after adopting a motion moved by Norbert Mao, Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Parliament has also criticized the recent spark of DNA testing, tasking government to guide the nation accordingly. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayewa, says that the situation has been mishandled and innocent children are falling victims.
The DNA testing has of recent become so common, with most of the unlucky players publicizing the results through various media.
Innocent children are falling victims. No, you don't know what your parents were doing, you don't know whatever happened. All of a sudden, you see someone saying, stop using my name.
Parliament, backed by the Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayewa, has found that the situation has been mishandled and may cause further challenges, including suicide.
DNA test shouldn't be compulsory, and they should not even actually encourage it. We as leaders at personal level are discouraging it because all children are important, whether you was or not.
Now, at least the mothers, for them, they know who the father of the children. But the men...
The quality of laboratories providing the DNA services is also a question aching the MPs.
Because they want to make money out of this. Some people are looking at it as business, and we are not sure whether they are genuine or not.
The Minister of Health promised that within 2 weeks, she will come to Parliament, even out through the deed of government business, to give a list of laboratories which are accredited and authentic so that we can guide the country on if you want to carry out a test.
Parliament has, through a motion moved by Dickson Kateshumba, the MP for Shima Municipality, appreciated President Yoweri Museveni for what was described as a clear and precise exposition of government policy as contained in the recent State of the Nation address.
His Excellency the President outlined the economic priorities of government in the next financial year that include peace and security of persons and property,
effective implementation of PDM and MYOGA.
The same afternoon session witnessed Parliament in agreement with the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, to increase the number of High Court judges from 83 to 151. Mao asserts that since 2017, when the number was increased from 49 to 83, the population has increased, including increased awareness of their legal rights, leading to a more litigious population.
Increase in population and crime rate leading to high demand for judiciary services and court use. B, acute case backlog.
As Parliament, at some point we demand for value for money. We can only achieve that value for money by having enough members on the bench.
Minister Norbert Mao says about 83 trillion has since been held up in courts due to disputes, and the move to enhance the sector will unclog the court system since the funding for judiciary has gradually increased.
These measures will deal with case backlog that continues to be a source of frustration to many citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's the ultimate goal of government to ensure that every county will have a magistrate's court, and there will be 8 circuits of the Court of Appeal.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
Yes, just like Parliament, the police have also cautioned, have issued a caution statement to the public and media on the growing misuse of the DNA business. This follows concerns that such misuse may compromise the rights of children. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga told the media at the police headquarters in Naguru that there is a higher prevalence of men seeking DNA tests on their children compared to women.
It is steadily increasing, and we are seeing children falling victim where some of their rights are abused. You find bloggers, people from the media taking photographs of children who are heartbroken, crying, and this, it's a violence towards the rights of children. So the commonly tested requests are basically about relationships where people are utilizing DNA testing for paternity reasons, for maternity reasons, for full siblingship, and even half siblingship. Others are using the test to establish where they are susceptible to certain types of genetic diseases like cancer. From the intelligence that we've picked, typical customers are basically men who are engaged and want to confirm offsprings from a past relationship. We have fathers who are seeking reassurance that they fathered their children. Then there are fathers in distant relationships, women inquiring about paternity on behalf of their children, then even relatives from the paternal side, especially when it comes to inheritance, women seeking child support, and even children who want to know who their biological parents are. Of course, for those whose results come out positive, they are always happy to receive the results because of the better proof. However, we have witnessed clients whose results have come out negatively. And this has evoked very strong emotions. Some are contemplating suicide, others are rebuking the children and insulting them as well as their partners. Some of these negative tests as an abomination or something that is very bad in society. And they put an alarm over the DNA results, which has started affecting the privacy of children. First of all, their welfare becomes uncertain. They don't know their future, their education, things to do with their housing and accommodation and other results, because the alleged father will no longer have a legal obligation to pay child support and welfare.
UBC News Tonight. Now, legal experts have said that the retirement of former IGP General Edward Kayihura doesn't give him leeway from prosecution for the offences he committed while still in active service as the Inspector General of Police. General Kayihura, at the time of his retirement from active military service, was facing charges of failure to protect military equipment, aiding and abetting the kidnap of Rwandan nationals, which offences he pleaded not guilty to before the military court-martial in March in there. Our court reporter Deborah Namamondi, in an interview with experts on legal matters, attempts to make sense of what the retirement of General Kayihura from active military service means in connection with the charges he is facing before the military court-martial, and here she reports.
On 24th September 2018, the then Inspector General of Police, General Kayihura, was dragged to the General Court-Martial and charged with charges of failure to protect military equipments, aiding and abetting kidnap of Rwandan nations. General Kayihura pleaded not guilty to all the alleged offences. However, he was later released on a non-cash bail of 10 million non-cash. Other conditions against him included to report to court once every month, not to travel outside Kampala and Wakiso, and not to travel outside the country without permission from either the military court or from the military leadership. The bail conditions also necessitated him to report to court as and when is required, with the pending charges against him. On Monday this week, General Kayihura was shortlisted among the 13 high-ranking military officers to retire from active military service. Among them were 6 army generals and 7 brigadier generals. Their official retirement is scheduled for 31st August 2023.
As I've seen in some sources saying that the charges would be dropped, that's not a fact. It is only the court-martial, which has the mandate to determine the matters before execution before that court, to drop the charges.
They are not discharged of liability by virtue of retiring. You are only discharged of liability by the court which charged you, or by the prosecuting authority. The most important thing is at the time when they were committed, that is the time when you are being charged.
Although General Kayihura has been frequently reporting before the General Court-Martial 6 years down the road, the cases against him had not commenced for hearing.
He's known to have been that person, a lawyer at that, who advocated for holding suspects before trial for 90 days. One person's right is not any less than the other. The way you treat a person when you are in an office of power may turn around to be the same laws that catch up with you. So, General Kayihura, like other people we've talked about, it is wrong. Whether it's about General Kayihura or other suspects.
If you try someone 3, 4, 5 years after the alleged offences, one, if the person committed the offence, there's a high likelihood that the witnesses could have either moved or died or lost interest. That means that a criminal will go scot-free due to lack of evidence.
At the helm of his service as Inspector General of Police, his reign was characterized with alleged human rights violation, and the situation got worse when the US and the UK governments imposed the sanctions against him.
These are people sometimes who are very powerful, and they can't be punished under their laws. Maybe the president is the commander-in-chief of the army, is the Inspector General of Police. So the intention of the US Senate when it was passing this act was that let us do something which sends a message. It's just to say we don't associate with you.
It is one of those means we've been advocating for as human rights advocates, that more sanctions should be really put on some of these officials, because they bite, by the way. They bite. They assist a lot. You've seen some of them now acting cautiously whenever sanctions are put. No doubt.
With the increasing foreign sanctions against his personality at that time and other military officers, Legal experts say partly this has helped in addressing the gross human rights violation that were being perpetrated by the men in the uniform who are charged with the mandate of keeping land order in the country.
So many times you find that if the US denies you a visa on those grounds, most of the EU countries also deny you a visa. Then they sanction you in terms of economic money transfers. You cannot send or receive money. You cannot deal with electronic transactions. So it's meant to deterrent. You may say that yes, it may not be compared to a person maybe who has tortured people, who has killed people, but it's just a sign that this is the least we can do under our powers for now.
I believe where he has been, it's not been easy for him. And whatever he does, of course, Ugandans really are not vengeful. We welcome him to the civil society. We welcome him to the bar practicing as a private lawyer. And we shall join him. We shall not really go after him. We believe if he comes and is repentant of all that he did to Ugandans, I believe Ugandans will not really follow up some of these matters.
Although General Kayihura is pending charges in the General Court Martial, but is facing these charges with other police officers and UPDF officers who were recently released on bail. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Uganda waraji batusako manrane chikona tela tekobo seko season yakuna savu July kuma mal papa's hall usasure kwa MTN mobile money usasura gumu chitundu MTN usasure nega komitano iga stemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ufune tiketi yokati wabula kumulyango usasure mitwale ebiri yepe mitwale 5 ate meza ya milioni 2 munana July koni hotel mkono wenda July Nikan Resort Airways 15 July France Africa Jinja Abiri July Maria Flema Saka Abiri Mwenda July Afro Club Eka Sangati ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo wafujini Dwamo Sente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Waraji Ne
MTN.
The land take for development of Tilenga, Kingfisher and East Africa crude oil pipeline projects in Uganda is approximately 6,900 acres with close to 10,000 project-affected persons. The compensation process involves an inclusive and participatory resettlement action plan study that provides for cash payment, physical resettlement and livelihood improvement packages for the affected persons. 90% of all the project-affected persons have been fully compensated. 200 replacement houses have been constructed and handed over. Communities are also engaged in vocational skills, agriculture, financial literacy programs, employment, and contracting opportunities to improve their livelihoods and grow community content. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mood Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
And in talking news, MTN has improved on their data voice bundles. You can now call across all networks for the same price. We've talked to several eyewitnesses on the ground, and this is what one of them had to say. Amos, did you hear about the MTN daily voice bundles? So, to join many more other Ugandans enjoying these MTN daily voice bundles, dial *100 *21# or use the My MTN app to start enjoying. Stay tuned for more offers from MTN.
Thank you so much for keeping it with us, and welcome to Business News Tonight. Uganda's hospitality industry is changing with the trends in the quest to improve guest experience and offer convenience to customers. According to the stakeholders, rapid technological adoption has come with numerous benefits despite the fear of cyber threats that are becoming more rampant.
The hospitality industry in Uganda is going digital, and credit goes to the global technological advancements and partnerships that offer convenience and improve guest experience. There are numerous benefits that technology has brought to the hospitality industry, and this can be attested by sector players such as Fairway Hotel in Kampala.
So maybe the COVID also brought more reasons as to why you should opt for technology options. So a person can actually pay without even seeing you. We make it simple. You can just swipe at the end of the stay, or you pay prior to your stay. You don't have to use any cash. So it's simpler because they don't know the currency. We are limiting all chances of cheating them, everything. So even the meals, when they're here, they don't need cash. They can post it to their room. We have what we call the easy system.
Paperless transactions are encouraged in a bid to improve guest experience, increase efficiency, reduce physical contact between the hotel staff and clients, in addition to lowering staff workload. The new technologies that are steadily gaining headway in Uganda's hospitality industry include contactless payments, mobile-enabled check-ins, and the Internet of Things.
Most of when you're using this machine, you just need your Visa card. When you get your Visa card, you insert it in, or you can just swipe in, or you can just tap it over on the top. Or when you tap it on the top, you just select the currency. Right now we're using two currencies, that's the USD and then the UGX.
For the case of Fairway Hotel, their collaboration with PesaPal, an online payment gateway, has been a game changer.
Well, it helps to ease also the check-in process, that when you get to the hotel, you don't have to spend a lot of time at the desk doing the check-in process. You'll have already paid everything, and you just come and collect your key card and go to your room, yeah? When you have to pay for a conference space, to avoid all this back and forth with staff of, give me my invoice, let me do this, you'll have cleared everything, and when you're done, you're just good to go. So,
although some business owners see technology adoption as an additional expense, which is not worth to invest in, experts think otherwise.
The idea is that even now, if you say you can be offer a product X, somebody would have to first go digital or else online and check what do you offer in the market. Once they have seen what you are on offer, then they can be able to contact you or else come to your shop. So there is a big market potential you can reach by going digital.
Despite the steady adoption of technology across board, there are challenges that are increasingly being faced. These include cybersecurity threats, skills gap, data protection and privacy, cost of internet, and last but not least, poor connectivity. Dennis Tigor and Charlotte Amuge for UBC Business.
Two dioceses of Gulu in Uganda and Lodwar in Kenya will receive support from Horizon T3000, which is an Australian organization that will spearhead the implementation of installation of solar energy in schools and health centers. The Archbishop Gulu Archdiocese, Dr. John Baptist Odama, is optimistic that the use of renewable energy like solar in remote areas will greatly improve service delivery in the sectors of education and health.
Uganda has many renewable resources that can be used for energy production, but solar energy has the highest adoption rate. This partly explains why Horizon 3000, an Australian-based non-government organization, has launched the Solar Pledge East Africa to support the two dioceses of Gulu in Uganda and Lodwar in Kenya to run solar energy programs for institutions like schools, hospitals, and health centers. It is believed by 2030, solar energy will contribute to improving the lives of several people in rural areas of Uganda and Kenya.
And so we'll bring in technical assistance with the work of the technical advisors, but we'll also work with the local expertise within the region to ensure that renewable energy is mainstream. All of you know that the church is a very big pillar in welfare, and they have a number of institutions, from churches to health centers to even the churches themselves have the need for energy, and so renewable energy is one of those. One, it is cheap in the way because it's, but the other thing, it is clean.
The Archbishop of Gulu Diocese, Bishop John Baptist Odama, and Bishop John Mbinda, the Bishop of the Catholic Diocese of Lodwar in Kenya, commended the rollout of solar energy programs on account that it will improve service delivery in the areas of education and health.
Fortunately, our environment, the greater part of the northern Uganda is rural. And because it is rural, it doesn't have access to all these opportunities of light and so on. Like now, solar pledge is promising. And most of our schools, particularly in the village areas, they don't have the facilities of reading. The children don't have it because electricity is not there. And even for those who have electricity in some of the rural areas, I mean in the urban areas, it is not consistent. I think solar is the solution.
And we hope that if we equip our schools, our hospitals, and also pump water with solar energy, it will have ripple effects of, first of all, taking care of our Mother Earth, but also providing the necessary source of energy that we need to propel our daily lives, leading to sustainable development.
The Commissioner for Renewable Energy in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Dr. Brian Isabire, applauded Horizon 3000 for complementing the efforts of government in achieving Sustainable Development Goal 7 of ensuring universal access to energy.
Embracing clean energy for environmental stewardship is key, and having church at the center of this conversation is the right thing to do. But we all appreciate that church, beyond the spiritual treatment, also does the physical treatment. So when we live in this earth, we have vulnerable people amongst us. So adopting clean energy and efficient practices around energy gives us an opportunity to make savings, which savings now we can direct to supporting the vulnerable poor.
The Catholic Dioceses of Uganda and Kenya run more than 750 health centers and 12,000 educational facilities. The reason they have been chosen to implement solar energy programs. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
The Uganda Para Badminton International Championship kicked off today, the 4th July 2023 at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium with about 100 participants. That's what we have for you in sports just after this short break.
Communities in Karanguru sub-county on slopes of Mount Rwenzori in Kabarole district have been challenged to embrace projects that increase household income, while handing over 150 goats donated by the Association of Rwenzori Community RCA to over 16 villages. The Area LC3 chairman, Karungura Sub-County, Kahuzo Erikana, advised the beneficiaries to own the donation.
Note it that as these ones are supplementing to government program, our goal is at least by 2030, every Uganda should be raising 37 million.
Kabarole District Community Development Officer Mande Christopher, who represented the RDC Kabarole, asked families to work for development.
And I appeal to households to work together as a team, husband and man, and to put all gender differences aside and work for development.
Executive Director RCA Aaron Biakutaga says the project will improve household nutrition and increase incomes for local communities.
We are realizing that most farmers, at times they eat or slaughter a hen or a goat when there is a visitor, maybe an in-law, maybe there is a function, but it can still be a routine.
A monitoring and evaluation analyst, Philippe Then, from Isles de Paix, a Belgium-based organization, says they believe in an integrated sustainable system of farming.
We should have a farming that works for the farmers themselves and for the environment at the same time. In that way, it can sustain now.
We apologize for a little mix-up, and that is one of our stories where Karangura LC3 chairman in Kabarole district, Kahuzo Erikana, warned beneficiaries against mismanaging resources that are given to them in a sense of assistance and responsibility of government. We'll get to badminton immediately after this very short break. We thank you so much for watching.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something, but the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president. She is the hope of our community. And as a community leader, I will talk to others about how we must protect her against child marriage and teenage pregnancy because it affects us all. We each have a role to play in empowering empowering our teenage girls to protect them from pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Yes, the Uganda Para Badminton International Championship kicked off today at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium with about 100 participants from 25 countries all playing for qualification points to enter Paris Paralympic Games next year.
Day one of the 2023 Uganda Para Badminton International Championship kicked off in high gear as several participants competed in a single, double and mixed matches. Though the number of this year's participants is significantly low compared to last year, the competition remains stiff as players are looking to earn points to qualify for the 2024 Paris Paralympic Games.
Players from Australia and New Zealand. We have from Korea, that is Asia, in India, that is Asia. We have from Scotland, Italy, Spain, which is Europe. We have Brazil, which is Pan America, and of course Africa, where we have Egypt, we have Nigeria, we have Benin, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and host Uganda, of course. So all the categories are there, and good enough. After our participation in Bahrain International, our players are ranked number one in all the categories on the African continent. So if they play well and they come out of the group stage, it gives them more chances to continue building on. And these points for this year is very special because it is a Paralympic 2024 Paris qualifier where points are going to help them to accumulate to make sure that they have more chances to qualify for the Paralympic Games.
Uganda has 44 participants in the competitions, with popular names being Hassan Mubiru, Elizabeth Mwesigwa, Rose Nansereko, Ali Mukasa, Sumin Mutesi, and Asimwe Rita.
Due to the preparations that our team has been able to go through, they've put up a competitive kind of match. One of our main aims this time around is to have at least several gold medals or at least some silver medals.
They have not played. I've been watching how they play, and I see they will not be very hard on me because they are also beginners.
The event that has attracted 25 countries with about 100 players will go on till the 9th of July 2023 at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium. Grace Joyce Kemigisa, UBC News.
No room for error. Uganda netball team has confirmed using the remaining 2 weeks to strengthen both the physique and wellness of players ahead of the games. The team introduced a double training session both at Lugogo and Entebbe Sports Facility.
2 weeks to the Netball World Cup in South Africa, the national netball team, the She Cranes, has refocused on the physique of players with a double training session at Entebbe and Lugogo Indoor Stadium. Training and competing alongside the men is a new tactic that head coach Fred Mugera has adopted, believing it will yield results given the compact of Group D.
And as we go to South Africa, we have teams that in our group, and our main target, first of all, as a team, is to make sure that we go through that first round, that group stage, and then the rest we shall discuss with the other people in which there.
A standard netball court matching the Vitality World Cup facility in Cape Town, South Africa, has been a challenge before settling for one in Entebbe. Uganda, that dropped in the world rankings to 8th, targets making it out of the group that has giants New Zealand, Singapore, Trinidad and Tobago, though looks to be an uphill task.
I see like the team we're having this year is more better than the one of last year. You shouldn't have any worry about the team because everyone is fit. We have the talent, we have the knowledge. We're not even like so different from other teams, but I see we are the best like among other countries. So don't have any doubt about these teams we're having right now.
Now, Plascon is sponsoring the team to a tune of 100 million to boost its preparations and improving players' welfare.
This time we have come up with a package to help the netball team
for the World Cup preparations. We have had association with the women's netball team since last year, and we are really very proud of the performance. It's not easy to qualify for World Cup and for them to do it for 3 consecutive years.
Uganda plays its first game against Singapore on the 28th, a game that will shape its World Cup campaign going forward. Marshall Miro for UBC.
Yes, we wish the netball team all the best in their World Cup endeavors. That brings us to the end of what we had for you now. We'll catch you at 10 with another arrangement. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakon and the whole team. We'll leave you with Molin Kenyana, who has something here to do with weather forecast.
Hello there, good evening and a very warm welcome to tonight's weather report. My name is Molin Kenyana. Now we're looking at moist southeasterly winds that are coming in from the Indian Ocean towards our country, and those have been responsible for much of the rainy conditions that we have seen today, even for the last couple of days. That is across parts of eastern Uganda as well as the northern sector. We continue to see those coming in. At the same time, we also have effects of the local effects, enhancement of Lake Victoria. That means that we're also continuing to see rains, especially across the Lake Victoria basin. And from this, we can anticipate that tomorrow in the morning we'll start off with mostly a clear day for much of central. We'll have some mixture of clouds and sunshine, whereas for the eastern part of the country, we'll see rains developing in the morning across several places, but also that will be in small quantities. Looking at the western part of the country, we'll have upward sunshine that will be blending in with clouds. That is across much of that sector. Across the northern part of the region, we'll be looking at rains across the Karamoja region, the central north. Otherwise, much of it will also be dominated by sunny intervals. Later, as we cross over into the afternoon, we'll see some rains developing for the central Lake Victoria basin, but the rest of central will be having mostly a mix of clouds and sunshine. And looking at most of the areas across eastern Uganda, we'll continue with those rains. Temperatures will be going up to 28 for most of these regions, and most of that will be accompanied by thunder showers. While looking at the western part of the country, we'll continue with mostly sunny conditions that will be with cloudy intervals with a maximum of 30 degrees. That will be across Kasese. And the northern parts of the country, we're forecasting rainy conditions again in the afternoon. That will be for the central area as well as the Karamoja region. We'll also be looking at a slight reduction when it comes to West Nile. And going across borders, we are forecasting sunny conditions that will be across Cairo as well as Dubai. Nairobi is expected to have mostly a mix of clouds and quite some cool weather over there. We're also forecasting cloudy conditions that will be for London. We'll leave it at that. That's the weather report for tonight. My name is Molin Kenyana. Have a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Plastic. Easy to fabricate, difficult to remove. Some think it's modernity. Others think it is flexible. But the pain it inflicts on Mother Earth is unbearable. Contravening the principles of nature and her very survival. The earth is a living thing which feels the pain when hurt, offended when abused, and dies when suffocated. This is what plastic does.
Mother Earth is alive. Mother Earth speaks. It breathes. It eats and vomits. It is orderly. It has its laws. Whatever is that comes from the earth goes back to us, and that's what Earth accepts and receives. Something foreign chokes Mother Earth.
And if there are any layers or any materials, then the soil cannot breathe easily. And so once it can't breathe easily, remember there are aerobic organisms that depend on that oxygen. So if you cut off that supply of oxygen, you don't have the opportunity to survive.
Plastic is a non-biodegradable product whose waste can hardly decompose, making it difficult to fuse into the environment. Soil scientists like Jerome Sebaduka say thin layers of plastic could remain unchanged for hundreds of years.
So depending on the material that you're talking about, it could range. But of course the time ranges between, you're talking of decades of the material once exposed to the environment to hundreds of years.
These layers of polythene, commonly known as kavera, have been lying underground for over 20 years now. Even when exposed to extreme heat and torrential rains, plastic and polythene remains unchanged. These plastic bags have been lying underwater for several years now.
These plastics are terrible. The jerrycans, those ones cannot, they are non-degradable. They cannot mix with the soil for a long time, or even never.
Plastic and polythene can also block soil aeration, making it difficult for any living organism in the soil to breathe. And in that way, they alter the ecological functioning of Mother Earth, suffocating her to death.
So when you have materials that patch the soil so that they interfere with flows, then you'll have a problem. The soil can't breathe normally. Now when you have also materials that interfere with the flow of water, whether it is vertically or horizontally, then the soil can't breathe at length. And so you have a problem where you create a kind of a dead system that cannot recycle nutrients in there. And if it can't recycle nutrients in there, then they are withheld from plants. And if they are withheld from plants, the plants can't survive.
These former rich soils can no longer support the cycle of growth. The farmers here are confused. They cannot know what is lowering their yields.
Kubeera nga mukoka buleeta ne bufunako ebugala obubeera ne buyingira mu nnimiro era oba tobijjeemu obuyuni obulaba nga bwonna bufa byezingazingira mu nnimiro nga ebimera tebijja bulungi.
The untold challenges of polythene and plastics to nature justifies why it should have never been in use.
It's an economic loss. They also, of course, suffocate the plants that should be growing in the areas, dampens the fertility of the soil around that. So it's a total nuisance. It's something that we must act upon quickly.
Problems associated with plastics are many and varied. And in Uganda, anything interfering with agriculture disables the economy, jeopardizing people's livelihoods.
Beyond affecting hydrology of the soils, it affects also the ability of plants, if it has settled at depth, to access lower levels of the soil horizon, because it impairs with the rooting system. And so it is a big threat.
When swallowed, polythene has the ability to interfere with the digestive process of any grazer, causing immediate death to its victim.
It is because the animals cannot break them down. So it stays perpetually there. And as a result, it clogs the system, it just chokes the animal, that's what happens.
In Uganda, salt is always packed in polythene bags, finding their way to the farmland at the time of disposal, which makes livestock a quick target.
The animals are enticed to eat these things by when there's some salt, when there's something that feels tasty, that's why they take it. And that's the problem.
Polythene and plastic are also a big threat to water drainage channels. They clog and block water outlets, accelerating chances of flooding.
It blocks the channels of water, so water cannot move. You go to all these urban centers in Kampala, in Rubijin, where so they broke the channels, and then you get unnecessary flooding and health, situations.
Mother Earth revenges, because you are talking about the floods. When you see these floods, when you see the water table drying up, then that is the reaction of Mother Earth.
This Lubigi Point and many other bridges in Uganda, which have cost government trillions of shillings to construct, could soon be washed away when heavy rains come down.
It is a huge threat, because originally Kampala was sitting on 7 hills. Now it is sitting on more than 20 hills, and all hills have been constructed. That encourages the elevation of surface runoff. The runoff collects and from hills, it collects into confined drainage lines, and then it goes all the way to the lakes. And the outlet is one outlet into Lake Victoria.
This kind of flooding and water stagnation promotes multiplication of disease vectors like mosquitoes. This Boise lady and her family are in pain. They too admit the frequent flooding menace along Nsoba Luigi stretch is a constant threat to their health. But it is not only Mastula grappling with Kavera-related hazards. This Naweru lady is in problems.
Endwadde za kolera, kuddukana, mazzi gayingidde mu nnyumba mwe tuliira emmere, sowaani zigayingidde mu sowaani. Kale ezo endwadde zennyini ze ŋŋamba nti tuyinza okukosebwa n'abaana baffe.
There are several health risks. They can drown, for instance. The stagnation leads to the breathing of mosquitoes and several other vectors, which is not healthy. The bad smell is there. Of course, the people there, by doing that kind of work, also can get infection. I mean, if that water has bilharzia, and when they drink that water, it's contaminated. It's a breeding ground for lots of other diseases, and therefore it is a big health risk.
And because plastic has remained a persistent nuisance to communities here, people have to think of new ways of removing it. The heaps of burning plastic everywhere may appear a quick remedy, but a persistent threat to people's health and that of Mother Earth.
Yeah, because people do burn, and we think in a confined way that I am doing it in my locality. That's a problem, because what you are doing in your locality actually has no boundaries.
The process of production of polythene and plastics, which is called polymerization, involves the combustion of hydrocarbons. And these hydrocarbons are released into the atmosphere, where they interface with the ozone layer, weakening it, and this contributes to global warming.
And even when you want to burn them using fire, they go into the atmosphere. There is what they call POPs, persistent organic pollutants. So they remain there, and then eventually when it rains, then it goes into the water which we use. Then when we breathe, havoc. That's the part of the origins of cancers.
Kampala city is built on a fragile ecosystem. The hills and valleys on which Kampala city is situated is undulating. It's like a human hand. Hills like Muyenga, Kololo, and Makerere continue to feed their valleys with water. Water, the governor of life. But this time, these streams come with all sorts of filth, including Kayihura and her sister, plastic. The plastic problem of Bwaise and Namuwongo have their catchment in the hilly Richmond suburb.
Bibira ddala eyo mukamwoki eyo waggulu abantu abali ku nsozi mulaga eyo yonna eyo waggulu eyo kubeera omwala gyeguva bweyego tulina gukkirira paka mu Lubigi.
Byonna biveera bizibikira omwala gyonna gyazibikira emirimu gye gyali gyonna gyazibikira olw'ensonga tebasobola kugogola mwala. Ekiyanja kigazi ne tractor wekkayo yiri zitulidde zonna tezisobola. Bye bino byabatadde waffe bayitandisa biteeka waffe batandisa gamba tuveewo.
We start our journey with the Nagulu Kololo Bwaise Drive. Here, the new discovery is that the empty plastic bottles and polythene bags along the Nsova-Lubigi connection are not the waste of the poor residents of Bwaise, but rather the Richmond's Actions, who is the major consumer of bottled products from Ntinda Naguru stretch.
Abakulu abali waggulu basindikira ffe abawansi saidi oba eyo kamwokya Mulago Muyenga Ntinda byebiveeyo ebijja newaffe kale ne tukosebwa nnyo.
N'ogattako kawempe eyo nnaku roko kawempe ku 5 kazo kumpi n'ennabweru yenna agatta bonawo n'emyala gyonna gisinga gigatta wano.
The next day, we trek from Muyenga Tank Hill, sloping down to Namuwongo, and later following the lower Nachibubo Channel and her tributaries. The scenario here is the same. This Richmond supermarket, located in the heart of Muyenga Hill, is a precursor of what will soon be seen along this journey. It's a constant supplier of plastic whose waste will later slop down the valley. The decoration on the shop window paints a false picture, characteristic of capitalistic adverts, portraying polythene and plastic as beautiful.
A culture that is promoted by industrialists, which wraps beverages and foodstuffs in polythene bags and plastic bottles with a very nice branding that paints a picture that what is therein is good. And yet when these products become warm, there is a transfer of chemicals to the foodstuffs and the beverages, which harms the health of human beings.
Yes, as civil society, we mobilize the communities, we educate them about the dangers of Kayihura.
Things glittering, they first glitter, then after that they become a nuisance to everybody and everywhere.
Yes, it is beautiful, but its beauty can be a real nuisance. This low-lying land in Namuwongo has now been turned into the Richmond's dumping place. All the mess that comes from the upper hill of Tank Hill and Muyenga end up here. Today, most business outlets pack almost all their commodities in polythene. Many think modernity has arrived, when in actual fact we continue to hurt Mother Earth.
There is a lot of pollution and the public is quiet, the government is quiet, and all is this creating all this filth. This is very, very, very damaging, and we should hold the industry is very accountable.
Yes, it is easy. Plastic is everywhere, and everywhere there is plastic. in the backyard, and in the kitchens. This young mother has been burning polythene to light her charcoal stove every morning. And like any other hydrocarbons, when plastic burns in the open, it will always emit dangerous fumes that are carcinogenic. Many mothers are ignorant about this.
We are doing a lot of studies around there. Excessive exposure to these fumes from Kavera is dangerous for our mothers who use it, for everybody who lives in that house, because they lead to chronic respiratory diseases, chronic obstructive airway diseases.
This young mother has been preparing her family meals like this. Her name is Jessica. Jessica feels this is the quickest way to get her food ready for her family. A cup of milk for her children will always find its way through the plastic sieve. The remainder is also packed into a polythene bag before heading to her garden. She too seems not to be aware of the dangers associated with plastic and polythene under the heat. Everything ends in plastic, and plastic ends everywhere.
The danger is in where you have these containers, these thin papers being used for cooking food, and they melt and they get chemically active and they interact with the chemical substances in our food and so on. That is when it gets to our body system. That's where the cancerous development takes place.
But Jessica's not alone. Many more people continue to wrap hot food in Kavera because they think it's cheap and convenient. This mobile snack vendor has been conducting his business in this way. Hot nuts from the fire into the bucket, and the journey begins. But James has mixed feelings, with mixed cultures too. He will always wrap his white ants like this. Even roadside snack preparers prefer to pack their clients' takeaway in plastic bags. They say Kavera keeps it hot. And all this later ends in our homes, littering the environment and threatening life. The actions of man to nature are relentlessly hurting Mother Earth.
The Kavera is, it's like if a human being swallows a glass, it will choke you, it will even kill you, because the earth is supposed to swallow things that it can manage. So the production of Kavera definitely is a disaster to Mother Earth.
Porridge and drinking water is a token of hospitality in our culture. Today, many people prefer to keep these beverages in jerry cans. Very few wait for it to cool down. The traditional clay pot is no longer used.
Using the jerrycans, that is a new thing, but people used the clay pots. The food that is cooked in those pots, like the meat or the beans or the greens in those clay pots, were very well, very good.
Here, and in many other commercial eating places, plastic plates are used to scoop and serve hot meals. And in Uganda, where the staple food is matoke, posho or rice, women prefer wrapping it in Kavera before steaming it. An extremely dangerous practice.
That is exactly where the danger is. Extremely, extremely dangerous. Hot, heated. The Kavera melts there, inside, integrates. So you eat it, the body accumulates the amount of the Kavera stuff, the hydrocarbons, that stuff, it accumulates in the body. That should be prohibited.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is the future of Uganda. And as a policy maker, the policies I enact today will protect her from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and teenage pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Bridge High, a high school TV drama that you do not want to miss. Who takes the title for the most popular and cool girl and boy in schools? Who are the good students? Which part were you during the high school times? Come and be part of this epic high school series movie premiere as you relive your school drama times. Tickets go for 30,000 ordinary and 50,000 VIP. Early bird will pay 25k and 45k respectively. 21st July 2023 at the National Theatre. Contact us on 0784 930190 or 0703 826623 for details. Sponsored by Bella Wine, Charism, UBC and U24 TV.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Everybody in Uganda, conservation is the key. The trees for life, the forest for life, our livelihood.
Nature is beautiful. It is full of resources. It provides the very basis of our living. But we are reckless with it. The cutting and burning. It has continued as we struggle to survive. But today, the clearing of biomass has intensified across Africa. Today, poor families with little regard for conservation fragment and tear the land for their very survival. Now, the question is, how can we best use and save the land? Here in Nakasongola, in the center of Uganda, the overgrazing over decades has badly damaged the vegetation. There is now relentless harvesting of trees to establish ranches.
Cutting all these thickets, it's not a job. And for us, we need everything cleared because even they are going to ban all these ones. Because if they don't ban these ones, these other thickets will just grow into those these ones which they have cut. So they have to make sure that the thing is clean.
This permanent tree clearing exercise produces lots of logs. Young men work in piecing up the logs. The logs are turned into charcoal.
kutuguzeshaho nubwo tukubana tufune sene ati nkiza kugeragera namuna kuriya ibi bituza ko bikunganya shango umwe niyo mitwaro nkashata
nawo cyamanda mulimo yange ni sina mulimo bizala okay mpuna mu sentence anyamba atusobola kuleta mutima ya kugenda kuiba atusobola kuleta mutima ya kubera na mutima ya vitu ya bandi kwanga ena nyamba ngurangoi sasura sukulupisi yabona nguriza ngabana shakulia mbuzi napuna mbuzi muna atwarira
This destructive activity is providing simple employment to many jobless, unskilled young men in this area. The charcoal, regularly produced here, is used as daily source of domestic energy by Uganda's largest urban and peri-urban families, either excluded from the grid or cannot afford the cost of national electricity supply. The scenery now is arid patches of shrubland. The consequences of actions by farmers here is immediate.
When we had the sound, then after about 10 minutes, the herdsman came and told me that the animals have been hit by the thunder. Normally these cows, when it rains, they come to try to come under the tree. We haven't known what is the problem, but it has become so rampant. In just recent, it happened in in Masindi, where everywhere, becoming terrible. So I think we don't know what to do. Maybe there's those who are concerned, they can give us what to do.
Indeed, somebody somewhere needs to tell him why. He does not understand it. He is sad about the loss, but he cannot link the cause and the impact. This man moved from the southern sector of the cattle corridor to this central belt to acquire land here.
This is the second incident in this farm, and we have about 5 incidents within this parish. In the Kasos there is a person called Karangwa. It killed 3 animals. So there are about 5 incidents which I have so far heard from such incidents. But we don't know the cause and we don't know what to do.
This corridor began way back in 1959 when the British, along the then wetland strip from the southwest to the northeast of Uganda. The actions of Elifazi, like those of his neighbors within this central stretch of the cattle corridor, covering Luwero and Nakasongola districts, have terribly damaged the land. The land area is now reduced to bare surfaces. The wind and occasional rains regularly sweep away topsoils. The feature now is stony, dry landscape. Soil erosion is persistent. Deep gullies have been produced from erratic light rains that fall here. The ecology of the area has therefore changed drastically. The creeping plants, the insects, the termites, and all that enrich the soil are displaced and withering away. Lack of water is a problem along the cattle corridor. But water shortage is most acute in this mid-sector area of Nakasongola. Because rains are rare here, agriculture and forest conservation have become difficult.
We are here to look at the extent of degradation in this otherwise lush and very good potential grazing area. Behind me here, we have these plots, an experiment that was set up by the Faculty of Agriculture in Makerere University. They were trying to measure the rate of runoff and the soil that is lost in the runoff. And in the plots here, they tried to establish grass from seed and vegetatively. These germinated, but they did not stand the attack from the termites.
Some places in the cattle corridor have been severely degraded. In that stretch from Nakasongola through those parts of Ngomaluweru, Nakaseke, those parts of Chankwanzi, go to Gomba. If government doesn't take keen interest in investing resources to restore those grasslands, that place is dying. The higher we invest in protecting against soil erosion, the better, because healing soil is extremely expensive.
Interventions by all stakeholders are needed if problems of Nakasongola have to be resolved. All stakeholders here admit unplanned charcoal production remains the major driver of this destruction. But whereas this is the case, families have to do their daily cooking.
Woodland and forests being cut out for charcoal and firewood is a big problem and it's complex. Complex in that more than 90% of Ugandans are using fuel wood as the source of energy. If you look at many of our homes, we still use the traditional 3 stones. Even when they get the charcoal stove, the sigiri, we use the traditional one which was being used so many years ago. That does not keep energy.
There are numerous alternatives to charcoal in Uganda, ranging from charcoal briquettes, cooking gas, and electric cookers. But all these are beyond the reach of the majority of average Ugandans.
The alternatives available are still not very accessible. But I think it's very important for us to realize that that does not exonerate us, and that should not be used as a consolation or an excuse to continue degrading.
Improved charcoal production technologies have been promoted to minimize waste, but these technologies have not anchored deep roots. The introduction of the new oil and gas industry in Uganda could have redeemed many families by lowering costs of cooking gas. But this alternative is also still far into the future.
And that's the excuse everybody gives then, including those of us who can actually buy liquefied gas. That's the excuse we use to buy charcoal.
Because if you compare it with gas, gas you'll be refilling every after 1 month according to what how you're using it. Eco stove, you have your rocks once.
In view of all this, the Ministry of Energy is encouraging small-scale groups to invest in improved cooking stove technologies that are safe and less wasteful.
Right now we have a very high uptake of the cook stoves. We're looking at the moment we are distributing close to about 20,000 cook stoves in a month. So we realize that that's a very huge jump from what we've distributed in the past when we were just starting to distribute some of these stoves. If I'm to compare with the past, we were actually looking at say roughly about 1,000 stoves to 1,000 to 2,000 stoves in a month. Today I'm talking about 20,000 stoves.
The new potential energy stove is double-sided and fits all saucepans, frying pans inclusive. The stove is versatile and has the ability to use more than 4 sources of fuel. It can use charcoal and firewood in small quantity. The stove can also use briquettes and grass biomass. But above all, it can be put upside down for frying and roasting.
You can also use a wire mesh to grill. The stove can also make posho, as I'm doing now.
This young lady has been using the traditional clay stoves for over 10 years now. She says her parents recently procured the stove to save money and cook faster.
The new stove has helped me in many things. For example, saving charcoal, serves charcoal better than the other ones I had, because the ones I had were made out of clay and they are breaking, but this new stove is made out of metal and it's not easily broken. And I can also bring it in anywhere I want, like in the sitting room. I cook from there. I can also use firewood if I don't have charcoal. It's not burning. The fire is easily attached with that shield it's having. You can hold it without burning you. The fire just stops inside. It saves charcoal as well as it's cooking faster.
The stove, which uses 50% less fuel and emits 60% less smoke, is safer and cooks much faster than the traditional clay stove.
We're looking at an efficiency level of say about 50% in terms of the stove. So if you compare this to the local or traditional cook stoves, you realize that there's quite a bit of a huge amount of savings in terms of fuel, how much time you would spend in terms of cooking. So these are some of the key components of this stove. All these stoves are built to ensure that we have high levels of efficiency, not only in terms of emissions reductions or cooking time, but we also look at the health aspect of the stove.
Another vital biological product is the charcoal stove lighting briquette. These sausage and biscuit-like tablets, locally known as obukuma sigiri in Buganda, are cheap and affordable. Other appropriate technologies emphasized by the Ministry of Energy includes the use of volcanic stones. The stones are in abundance in the western and eastern parts of Uganda, where volcanicity has brought them to the surface of the earth.
A very unique type of stone, and this is what we use to cook. Mark you, only and only this can generate fire.
Volcanoes, which went into extinction hundreds of years ago, are now active in some kitchens in Uganda. Very many people are beginning to put to use these ancient rocks thrown out by the violent earth crust several years ago.
If you're one of those people who have been cooking at home using this other method of, fuel, for example, like firewood, or migrate to this one, because you'll be using these volcanic stones to cook, and at the same time you save the environment, but also you save money.
Products of the molten magma that cooled down to give rise to these very important rock particles.
So the Muhabura is bordering Congo and is bordering Uganda and Rwanda. So for now we are getting rocks from Mount Muhabura.
It is the only technology I've seen so far here in Uganda, in Africa, and even in Europe, where you use stones as a source of fuel to cook.
From Kidepo to Mount Elgon in eastern Uganda is a belt of these ashes and stones. Another belt stretches from Mount Muhabura in the southwest through the slopes of Mount Rwenzori up to Semiliki in the midwestern Uganda.
In this country you have 3 volcanic mountains, right? We have the Muhabura, we have the Tororo mountain, we have Mount Elgon. And there are other mountains on the border like Congo and Uganda. So the Muhabura is bordering Uganda and Rwanda.
In Chisoro, these stones are heaped everywhere on people's farmlands. In fact, the word Mugahinga in Lufumbira simply means a heap of stones.
So if you go to Mount Muhabura right now, for who are staying there, in their gardens, When they are digging, they collect these stones aside. Some of them they are using it to build fences. If you go there and you see how they are organizing their gardens and whatever, everywhere you go, even alongside the road, there are those heaps of rocks.
It's now these vital ancient rocks that have been put to another use: energy. Twine and Bamwine were both born and settled on the slopes of these important volcanic soils of southwestern Uganda. Their legacy has lived to explain what magic and potential power lived in the stones that were ejected from the world below us.
So these are the stones. You see what we have here? They are only and only volcanic stones.
The rebirth of nature's ancient technology now redeeming millions of Ugandans faced with problems of wood fuel shortages. The hot rocks, which went cold silent hundreds of years ago, are now regaining their former strength: heat energy. Some bit of catalyst through the holes of nature's mighty rocks, and the quick reaction is turned into heat energy, ready to steam a variety of foodstuffs and liquids.
So there is anybody out there who still doubts that the stones don't cook, just direct that person to the house of EcoStove, and the answer is here.
Everything is fabricated here. From the crushed broken clay tiles to heat-resistant metallic blades that will be carved into cage-like containers, sealed to shield heat energy of volcanic magnitude.
We also shape a few items which go into the stove. For example, the hexagonal small pieces which have to go somewhere, handles. So they're all done by this machine. The pad has pressed the sheet metal, so now I'm doing the bending.
After bending, you come up with a box of 4 sides, so you drain it from here.
This is what we call the liner, or a fire chamber, the area for the fire. And this is where we put our volcanic stones. The use of a cone is to narrow the gap, but at the same time keep all the heat in within one area. The fan is supposed to create the aeration, and that air which is blown in is what keeps the stones actually burning. 100 programs of
The stoves are carved into various sizes to accommodate different saucepans. A variety of saucepan sizes that will support different family groups, ranging from small family setups to big institutions and communal gatherings.
We actually take care of all categories of clients, from the smallest family of 2 people to the largest family of 3,000 or 4,000 people. It's all about the client's need and how do you satisfy them.
But the most fundamental factor is safety and the assurance to good health.
A cooker in your house can be good, but at the same time can be danger. For us, with this in your house, you are safe because it is friendly. Why? Because of our technology that helps the thing to remain very cold yet extremely hot in the fire chamber.
The technology is also anchored on the 3 pillars of social-economic demands.
Now, if I'm going to really migrate from using charcoal to using stones, honestly speaking, you are saving almost 100%. But also it saves the environment. You must have seen that surely the weather has been changing over and over and over again. And the reason is very simple, because we are the people who are destroying the environment, cutting down the trees in the name of looking for charcoal. With EcoStove, we encourage you to use the stones and we discourage you from cutting down the trees, because there's no reason as why you should continue cutting down the trees, yet surely you can use the rocks.
Chai wange talwawo nnyo antwalira dakiika 2 zokka oba 3 aba ayidde. Kasita gano amayinja gabanga gakutte oyinza fumba n'ebijanjaalo naye nga ebijanjaalo kubifumba kikutwalira dakiika 45. Oyinza fumbirako buli type ya mmere yonna, muceeri, lumonde, biki, naye nga kisinziira type ya mmere. Obumonde, muceeri bintwalira dakiika nga 6 buli kimu okubanga mmaze okisolovinga nga nfumbye bulungi.
At the Eco Stove Limited, everything is decorated green to reflect the concept of green energy, driving green technologies.
Everybody in Uganda, conservation is the key. The trees for life, the forest for life, our livelihood, please defend.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. This week on UBC.
People normally relate me to my mom a lot, so I think for the biggest part of my life I'll try to hide it. Like a teacher, she didn't know me because I was very stubborn. Few times they'll need a young child to do this on stage, be the angel. So they'll dress me up, pick me from school, then I go.
We always tell you it will be young, it will be old, it will be just right in between there.
We submitted, I think, 4 ideas, and each person was the CEO of that idea, the person who brought it up. So when my idea Shivera got selected, we're all on board to bring it up. Honestly, we didn't have any clue on how to start a business. And then Stanbic offered funding for the winning group of the region, and we won Central Region. So they gave us some money and we're able to make prototypes. We have 2 versions. We have the transparent one, then we have the black ones for guys who just want to keep it corporate.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala. We have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This week on UBC.
One would get that avocado.
Yes.
When you enjoy the other part of it.
Yes.
So everything is equally important.
Yes. The avocado, for example. Wow. Avocado, the peel, the pericarp that we eat has a very rich avocado oil that has international market. Avocado oil is used in the cosmetics industry. Cosmetics, I mean, in the hair industry, in the skin industry, and some use it even in the pharmaceutical industry. It depends on the grade of the quality that you produce. When you come to Agrivita, we show you how to produce different grades, and don't fear, because a machine is something that simplifies work. So even before work is simplified, it is done. Last time we were showing people how to make milk using a stove, how to add value to milk using
because
the stove.
One would think of such creations and like there's a lot of investment
Yeah.
that someone needs.
No.
Not forgetting they can even start small.
Yeah, they can start
stove.
by cutting that avocado out, drying it, and then we make them a small oil press that can help them extract the oil. And yeah, if someone has big capacity, we can make them really big capacity machines. But if somebody really has to start, we guide them on how to start.
Starting
and it's not
small and then they grow big.
Yes,
with
then
time.
they grow big.
buli munya-uganda nayetenga amakulu malungi. UBC West erina amakulu malungi kandi agali kwesigwa. Leero za puroguramu zaayo ziri omulunya kitala hamwe n'olufumbira. UBC West eine tekinologiya ey'omulembe eri kugibaasisa kuhika omu bicweka byona omu ihanga nangu n'aheeru y'eihanga. tukwatire aha frequencies zetu Kisoro 97.7 Fama Kabari 93.7 Fama Hoima 99.1 Fama Kampala 105.7 Fama Mbarara 97.4 Fama Footpoto 98.8 Fama Masindi 5 Fama Kurichiriza UBC West ohulira embaganiza UBC West empika huna.
Corporate Games is back bigger and better. Our next outing is on the 9th of July 2023 at Bishop Cyprian Kihanjire along Port Bell Road. Entrance is free and games will run from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Be part of the Corporate Games family and experience a number of benefits like annual participation, team building, free exhibition, branding opportunities, media coverage, and featuring in the Corporate Games magazines. For more information, contact us on 0700 339048 or 078 21936112. Corporate Games, inspiring corporates through sports.
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Did you know that our number one value as a nation is to respect and protect the environment? With the current population increase of Uganda and industrialization, this has increased pressure on the natural resources, resulting into environmental degradation and global warming. Developing countries like Uganda could face 80% of the global climate change effects by the year 2030 if no action is taken. Join us here on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, on our Eco Plus program, where we bring you an in-depth analysis of issues that are disastrous to our environment. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. only on your loved station, the National Broadcaster. UBC is the National Public Broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
UBC, inspiring Uganda. Up next on UBC, brought to you by
Airtel. Download Airtel TV to watch and support Ugandan talent on The Voice Africa every Sunday at 8 p.m.
A very good evening once again. Welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. In our first story, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has urged the people of Oyam North to vote for the NRM candidate Engola Okello Jr., saying he bears the vision of hard working for the late father Engola. He campaigned in the sub-counties of Entebbe and Otwal, preaching to the people the achievements of the NRM in the energy sector, road infrastructure, education and health sectors in the country. Philip Aguta has the details.
President Museveni arrived at Tegoni Primary School in Entebbe sub-county at around 2 p.m. amidst excitement from the NRM supporters to drum up support for the party flag bearer Okello Engola Jr. Museveni addressed two rallies with the other at Otwal sub-county. He started his campaigns by preaching about the achievements of NRM like the road construction and electricity that has now eased movement and facilitated business.
March is here. I can see schools, they are here.
Museveni also enlightened people about improved education and health services in Oyam and the country at large. That he says people should now play their part of increasing household income.
We the NRM leaders must add Lonyo.
President Museveni urged the people of Oyam North to vote for Engola Jr. as he is likely to bear the same vision his father, late Engola, had. During the campaigns, he received over 9,000 people that have crossed from Uganda People's Congress UPC into NRM, including former MP for Oyam North, Crispus Ayena. Ayena and the new comforts pledged to work and mobilize for NRM.
I'm your prodigal son who once upon a time surrendered myself to your stewardship. You mentored me for more than 5 years.
Declaration of joining NRM as a party for purposes of continuity. I want to thank you very much.
Officials from the NRM party who have been on the ground for the campaigns said the ground is leveled for the NRM candidate to win.
Parliamentary committee Julius John, member parliament maintain civility
We have had a very successful campaign.
Oyam to give solidarity to our members in this area, and I think NRM we are 85%, and we think it's a must. We are going to win.
Of course, we are very optimistic that with his word and in addition to all the efforts and the work we have been
today for the campaigns, as the people of Oyam heads for the polls on Thursday, choosing their new member of parliament after the former one, Engola, was gunned down by his bodyguard in May this year. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Oyam.
President Yoweri Museveni has paid tribute to the late Colonel Charles Engola for his tremendous contribution to the country. Museveni has this Tuesday commiserated with the family of the late minister as part of his long-day campaign tour in the district.
On his way to Oyam North County Parliamentary by-election campaign program for the NRM candidates, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni made a stopover at the late retired Colonel Charles Engola's home. Upon arrival at the home, President Museveni was received by the late's brother Samuel Engola and widow Joyce Aikoro Okelo. Here, the president laid the wreath at the late minister's grave, supported by a short prayer said by Reverend Canon George Amoli, the in charge of the Anglican Church in Oyam district. In his condoling message to the family, President Museveni praised the late Engola as one who offered a lot in the fields of economics and politics of Uganda and his region. He said Mr. Engola taught his home residents to move away from the subsistence agriculture and also worked hard to restore peace in Lango sub-region. Museveni further noted that Engola's contributions to his country was dated back to when he served as the LOC5 for Oyam district. President Museveni further commended the late Colonel retired Charles Engola for having taken up the gospel of teaching people how to generate income and not working for their stomach only. Museveni says that this did not only make him an NRM activist, but also a teacher who showed the people the way of fighting poverty. It is on this backdrop that the president encouraged the children of the late Engola, especially the NRM flag bearer, Engola Okelo Samuel Jr., to keep the legacy of his father burning. He ended the visit by promising that on a later date he will hold further discussions with both the family and clan groups of the late Machodongo's line. Mr. Museveni later joined hundreds of NRM supporters to canvass for support for the late minister's son, Okelo Samuel Engola Jr., who is seeking to replace the late father as Member of Parliament for Oyam North County. Robert Onyango.
President Museveni's campaign trail in Oyam North, rallying support for the NRM candidate Engola Jr., started with the laying of a wreath on the former minister's grave, the late Sam Engola, before proceeding to Entebbe and Otal, where he held the last two rallies.
President Museveni concluded this rally for Oyam North parliamentary by-election at Otwal Primary School, where he addressed a huge gathering of NRM supporters. Before his rally in Entebbe and later in Otwal, President Museveni laid a wreath on the late minister's grave. Speaking to the people of Oyam North on the final day of campaigns, Museveni rallied the people to support his flag bearer.
So let us tell on him.
Museveni said NRM cherishes peace, and that is what the late retired Colonel Charles Okelo Engola fought hard for.
Now, Engola is development which covers all of us. The road, the school, the electricity, the hospital,
clean water. All those are elements of Ndongo.
On poverty eradication, Museveni promised more developmental initiatives.
But there is a difference between extensive agriculture and intensive agriculture. And when I come back, I want the population notification people who are here to come and report what they were doing.
That's why you need about March, near Wakaleha, March, near Wari Mabo, March, near Ladi in Charo, I met the area Melwell, Keraleha, Tutwale Walk, March, near Kuru, Yai Center, Aleha, Naha, Anet, Wacha Nobody about.
But his address to 2 rallies in Oyam North can be structured in 3 fronts. 1, to give support to the NRM flag bearer, but also 2, to receive the many defectors from other political parties, more especially from UPC, but also 3, to preach the message of development and the message of wealth creation, where he has committed that after election he will return to Oyam to continue preaching the message of wealth creation.
Oyam North parliamentary by-election stemmed from the awful shooting of former Labour Minister, late retired Colonel Charles Engola. 4 candidates, including NRM, UPC, FDC and NUP, are in the race to fill the vacancy. According to the Electoral Commission, campaigns ended today and election will be held on Thursday. Ediolwa, UBC News.
Government is to increase the number of High Court judges from 83 to 151 in a move to ease access to justice in the country. Parliament has agreed with the government after adopting a motion moved by Minister for Justice Norbert Mao.
The DNA testing has of recent become so common, with most of the unlucky players publicizing the results through various media.
Innocent children are falling victims. No, you don't know what your parents were doing, you don't know whatever happened. All of a sudden, you see someone saying, stop using my name.
Parliament, backed by the Deputy Speaker Thomas Tayebwa, has found that the situation has been mishandled and may cause further challenges, including suicide.
DNA test shouldn't be compulsory, and they should not even actually encourage it. We as leaders at personal level are discouraging it because all children are important, whether you was or not.
Now, at least the mothers, for them, they know who's a part of the children. But the men...
The quality of laboratories providing the DNA services is also a question aching the MPs.
Because they want to make money out of this. Some people are looking at it as business, and we are not sure whether they are genuine or not.
The Minister of Health promised that within 2 weeks, she will come to Parliament, even out through the lead of government business, to give a list of laboratories which are accredited and authentic so that we can guide the country on if you want to carry out a test.
Parliament has, through a motion moved by Dickson Kateshumba, the MP for Shima Municipality, appreciated President Yoweri Museveni for what was described as a clear and precise exposition of government policy as contained in the recent State of the Nation address.
His Excellency the President outlined the economic priorities of government in the next financial year that include peace and security of persons and property, effective implementation of PDM and MYOGA.
The same afternoon session witnessed Parliament in agreement with the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Norbert Mao, to increase the number of High Court judges from 83 to 151. Mao asserts that since 2017, when the number was increased from 49 to 83, the population has increased, including increased awareness of their legal rights, leading to a more litigious population.
Increase in population and crime rate leading to high demand for judiciary services and court use. B, acute case backlog.
As Parliament, at some point we demand for value for money. We can only achieve that value for money by having enough members on the bench.
Minister Norbert Mao says about 83 trillion has since been held up in courts due to disputes, and the move to enhance the sector will unclog the court system since the funding for judiciary has gradually increased.
These measures will deal with case backlog that continues to be a source of frustration to many citizens. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's the ultimate goal of government to ensure that every county will have a magistrate's court, and there will be 8 circuits of the Court of Appeal.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gutabinji, UBC News.
The Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, has advised the public to embrace coffee growing to enable them improve their income. He said this to coffee traders that paid a courtesy visit to Bulange Mengo in a campaign codenamed Luwalolo Afe, where people bring support to build the kingdom. He also commended parents to help their children have skills in farming to enable them survive even in their parents' absence. Over 20 million shillings were collected from coffee traders and learners from different schools in a campaign called Luwalolo Afe to support the kingdom activities.
We
have a duty not to plan for our children, but to show them the right way that will enable them survive in future. And it is wrong to make the children believe that agriculture can only be carried out by peasants and, disadvantaged people. It's wrong to make the children believe that you only have a good life when you are a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. We need to show them that you can make progress as a farmer, that you can have good life as a farmer. That's why I urge all the farmers in the kingdom to have to up the standards of their homes. The king would like to see that the farmers have got electricity in their homes, they've got flowing water, they've got clean homes, nice houses. That's how we shall have a mindset change for the children, for them to understand that you can have a good life like any other professional when you engage in agriculture, when you grow coffee. So it's very gratifying. Makes me very happy to see that the children are here and the farmers of coffee are here and the businessmen and traders of coffee are here. And I thank you very much for the efforts you've taken to ensure that the children are here so that they learn about the importance of coffee to our country.
State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has ordered the RDC Wakiso, Justice Mbabazi, to take back 11 families out of 14 in the report done by State House Anti-Corruption Unit on the Bibanjas. They were evicted by Dr. Apollo Kagwalu Takome from villages of Kakunyu and Nsekwa, Namusera, Wakiso district.
Ebatuze, through Chimbugwe Emmanuel, briefed the minister about the activities on the land. He explained how Dr. Apollo Kagwa Lutakome has deployed more security and batch face on the land and also added cows within few days.
Minister kino tujja kikukisa enkya ya leero aleese bebayita bakifeesi era mwebali muno otuyambe mu nsonga eyo eggwe olwaleero oba otuzizzaako otulekera obukuumi
olunaku tetugenda kusula wano batuwa obukuumi bakola disibwa najja naleeta obukuumi.
In her address, the RDC Wakiso District Justin Mbabazi urged the residents of Kakunyu that once NRM government promises, they fulfill their promises.
Tuna mulungi kubanga government inza okutwala akadde naye ati netuukiriza mazima. So, twebaza nnyo minisita waffe Honorable Sam Mayanja obutakoowa ate obutakoowa muntu wa bulijjo nze ekyo nkyebaliza nnyo Katonda nti ono minisita gwe twafuna Katonda amutuwanga kirabo nga bannayuganda.
After the Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, gave a brief about the report which was done by the State House Anti-Corruption Unit on restoring Bibanja holders at Kakunyu and Nsekwa na Musera Wakiso district.
Kopi yenyini jimukwasiza nga mulagira nga President Museveni byakiragira nga 22 August 2013 alagira nti bonna abagobeddwa gavumenti ebayambe okudda ku bibanja byabwe. Kati gavumenti yakoze investigation n'ekizuula nti bane 11 bagobwa mu butanwa bagobwa mu kumenya amateebwa badde ku bibanja byabwe.
He handed over a report to the RDC Wakiso district Justin Mbabazi and ordered her to take back 11 families back to their bibanjas.
Yakyogera n'akisaininga tewali anybody above. Tewali ajja kujja n'abagamba nti alina power from above. Kino kyekino tewali mu district asinza buyinza RDC. Obuyinza bungi nnyo President Museveni yayasa mu RDC era ne court order yenyini tayinza kukola okujjako ng'eyise mu RDC.
You've seen the house which was damaged. You've seen also the graves which are damaged. All this will be compensated. It's part of the report. It's part of bringing peace and order to the country. Impunity must end.
The minister urged the Bibanja holders not to be intimidated and threatened by Dr. Apollo Kagwa Lutakome.
Museveni yalayira okukuuma omuntu n'ebintu byabwe. Tewali muntu Kagwa naye alinayo oboolyawo ekisigaza kyasigazaako. Ekyo nakyo kijja kukuga.
I've handed the report to RDC, a copy of the report, and instructed her to immediately start implementation. She has requested that she needs a surveyor to clearly demarcate whose kibanja each one where it ends, so that
commercial building owners have appealed to government on tight security to ensure safety of the citizens. This follows a warning by the UK government on a terror alert for Uganda.
Cherumira Kalungi, who owns several buildings in Kampala Business Center, says commercial building owners have instituted measures and equipments to check terrorism attacks.
The police, the army, and the ISO, this time I call upon you to work, to be on your alert. We don't want to repeat the mistakes that happened in Kasese when the ADF infiltrated and murdered close to 50 children in a cold blood. To be on alert, we have deployed more private guards on all our doors, the entry and exit doors of our premises.
The Msemedor of Papyrus Terrace Restaurant at Kalungi Plaza says even restaurant owners should increase vigilance and deploy more security guards to control entrance and exits of clients and the luggage.
Of Papyrus Terrace Restaurant here on Kampala Road. What we've done as the restaurant to put security measures is to ensure that our gates are manned with our security who check everywhere, have cameras in place, which also sees whichever person enters our restaurant. What we'd like the government to do in terms of security is to secure our city and secure our country. In terms of deploying the police who can man the streets or even the army, and even securing our borders so that the terrorists will not attack us. Here,
Muhammad Karim of Riyam Street Building and Mosque has distanced himself from saying it's the Islam mostly used to carry out terrorism. UBC News, I'm Nakandwe Patricia.
China Railway 18th Bureau Group has started forwarding maintenance on the drainage channels and eliminating potholes to improve traffic flow. China Railway 18th Bureau Group Social Development Officer Lumisa George advised motorists to respect traffic guidelines.
The state of roads in industrial area is alarming with potholes and waterlogging. At 7th Street, China Railway 18th Bureau Group has started desilting and clearing drainage channels around Mantrak and Uganda Oxygen Limited. The roadworks will improve traffic flow on this road.
The challenges with 7th Street, it has a lot of storm water. There are big potholes. So now our boys are desilting drainages. You can also see that side. We are removing debris to unblock and rough flow of water to go into the channels. We are doing desilting at the same time also improving on the state of the roads.
At 6th Street, road maintenance works caused traffic jam, although people operating businesses in this area appreciate the road works.
I'm very positive that things are going to be fine. The fact that they have started working on the construction, but I would suggest that they should put a lot of effort on the drainage, because at the end of it, when they're just constructing and the drainage is still poor, that means there will be we shall have future problems with the road still.
A boda rider said they have been inconvenienced with the diversions. This forward maintenance is part of the works under the Kampala City Roads Rehabilitation Project of Kampala Capital City Authority, implemented by China 18th Bureau Group, the contractors, and LEA, the supervising consultants.
What we are doing is forward maintenance on our roads. We are doing forward maintenance to improve on traffic flow, because there have been so many big potholes that have sabotaged the normal flow of traffic. So we have been working with the traffic police.
However, there is a challenge of compliance during the roadworks and respect to traffic guidelines.
Created some diversions, but some of the motorists, some of them, they don't respect traffic laws. They don't have road discipline on the road. Everyone in Uganda is a big person, is a high-profile person. You know, I'm rushing, I have a meeting.
These roadworks will continue until the supervising engineers review the designs of these roads before starting major civil works. I'm Navka Farida and Dan Lukomwa in Kampala.
His Grace the Papal Nuncio Emeritus Augustine Kasuja has advised parents to diligently encourage their children engage in works of faith through practice. He was at St. Savio Junior School, Chisubi, where learners received their first Holy Communion.
Confirmation demands of us to remain firm in our love and faith in Jesus Christ. The renewal of these candidates of their baptismal promises confirms that they love Jesus and want to observe his commandments as a sign of their fidelity. One cannot say, well, I can go and steal, I can go and kill, because I have already received the confirmation. No, it does not correspond. You have received a confirmation. If you love Jesus, you must observe his commandments.
Spiritually and academically, as the sons and daughters of our founder, Lamele. Our founder, Tolmer Lamele, had a special love for the children. And I thank the brothers and the staff for continuing with that love for these children. We congratulate you upon the sacraments you have received today. And today, as you have received the sacraments, you have become like Christ. So we ask you to remain witnesses of Christ, and as the theme of the Brothers of Mission instruction this year says, witnessing hope, we expect you to keep on witnessing hope. And we expect you to remain boys with a difference.
The newly created district of Abong is one of the districts hosting huge numbers of refugees from South Sudan. However, infrastructure services have over the time been limited due to the increased numbers of refugees versus the indigenous people in the host communities. To ease the burden of pressure on the limited infrastructure services, Government of Uganda, the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Project have added additional funding towards the construction of a central market and 2 resource centers in the area.
This is Ndiri Market at the shores of River Nile, one of the markets in the Palorinya refugee settlement in Abong district. Traders here have been faced with challenges, especially during the rainy season.
We have channels of waters, running waters around here that disturb the market during the market day. Even wind sometimes disturbs what we construct like this. Market, the new market which has not been started to work, it will be okay because it will help us a lot.
Government allocated 1.745 billion shillings towards the construction of Ndirindiri Modern Market, which accommodates both refugees and host communities.
We expect the community to leave roadside trade, come and occupy the shops. Right now, in the second phase of the project, we are now constructing the stalls and the restaurants.
However, the modern market is envisaged as a better solution to the challenges refugees and host communities have been facing. Apart from the central market, 2 resource centers have been constructed at Palorinya and Itula sub-counties worth 966 million shillings and 938 million shillings respectively. These centers will provide space for learning and meetings, among other activities.
The concept behind them was that this would combine the host communities and the refugees on a number of activities, learning, meetings.
Dan Luis is a youth who considers presence of the 2 resource centers as a place where the youth converge and discuss developmental issues to change society.
We normally go very far, like in Ajumani or in Moyo or the other side in Yumbe, but currently, since it is near here, it is very easy for us to learn computers.
According to Abong District Chief Administrative Officer Andrew Leroux, these infrastructural facilities will increase the revenue base of the district.
There is a clear source of local revenue from the market. As a resource center, we have the library. You know, we have several implementing about around 27 of them. I know when we commissioned this is the nearest point.
Joseph Fodamam, UBC News.
Educationists in Teso sub-region have been tasked to protect and preserve the environment to mitigate the effects of climate change. Kumi Municipality MP Cyrus Ogon says that disasters are due to reluctance to prioritize and protection of the environment.
Chitala Secondary School is a grant-aided government school commissioned in 2018. The school enrollment has been constrained by limited infrastructure. To provide inclusive education for all, the school administration provides papyrus shelters.
That land, the papyrus, solve the problem. But when they solve the problem, it also looks very terrible for the child of 20th century, 21st century to see a student studying from papyrus. It's funny when it's raining and it's windy. Children now start to squeeze themselves. Where do we go? Where do we go? Then they stand. I would request, Mr. Senyonda said, we shall look for what to fund for this school.
The Director of Basic and Secondary Education at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Ismail Mulindwa, says the sector still encounters gaps.
Before government comes in, we shouldn't fold our hands and say until when the government comes. No, we can do what we can. And the Rotarians are coming out. We also have a responsibility as citizens of this country and of this area here.
In their initiative of providing basic education and literacy to communities, the Rotary Clubs of Webaja and Garuga have constructed a 600 million shillings 6-classroom block for Kitala Secondary School.
We're going to work tirelessly. As a district, we are going to see that we come together with these two clubs and we add in some resources to see that we can complete this building. So the needs are so many, and we aren't limiting clubs to projects you want to do. You can go out and do whatever you want. As long as it is touching and promoting education, we shall be good to go.
Joshua Kagoro, Lydia Chomukama,
Let's take a short break. On return, we'll have business news. Thank you for watching.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Attention coffee farmers, traders and processors. Uganda Coffee Development Authority has important advice for a successful harvest season. Pick only red farm cherries to achieve good weight and high quality coffee. For natural processing, dry coffee on tarpaulin, concrete or clothing to avoid mold growth. Avoid heaping coffee on the floor. Store coffee in jute bags and in ventilated rooms on wooden pallets. For more information on good harvest practices, visit your nearest extension worker or Uganda Coffee Development Authority offices.
This is the University of Africa. On the streets, you get your real education. Here, everybody has a degree of something, but the most important qualification is imagination. His reason is to be the GOAT. The reason to imagine is to take the beat and make it lit. So no matter what your situation, just use your imagination.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sauti 116.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial star 185 star 7 star 6 hash to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
The drilling of development and production wells for the Kingfisher project in Kikube district started in January 2023, while the delivery and assembly of the 3 drilling rigs for the Tilenga project is ongoing. Enabling infrastructure works for the other required facilities, including the central processing facilities, well pads, flow lines and camps, remain on course. The produced resources will be commercialized via the East Africa crude oil pipeline, which will run from Uganda to Tanzania, and the 60,000 barrels of oil per day Uganda refinery project, which will be constructed in Hoima. These projects are bringing investment of $15 billion into the country. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
We thank you so much for watching. We'll now take you back to that story of ours. Previously, we were talking about school infrastructure and a new building in one of the schools there. But currently, we'll take you back to that story where educationists in Teso, a sub-region, have been tasked to ensure preservation of the environment through tree planting and encouraging children to walk in that line, as told by MP Silas Aogon.
Speaking during the pass-out of over 1,000 student patriots at Wiggins SS grounds in Kumi, the Kumi Municipality Member of Parliament stressed that, given previous disasters that hit the eastern region, there is a need to protect the environment.
We want to request that we all protect our environment. Today, you have seen the changes that have happened in our country and the world over. Things have changed. A lot of flooding, a lot of destruction, too much drought, hunger everywhere because of climate change. We have a responsibility. You together with myself must do something. It starts from here after this training.
Viva! Viva right to be God! Viva! 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 Whatever Uganda! Viva!
We are appealing to parents of Kumi district to always participate in mentoring our children. We do a small part here, but the rest of the life is with you who are with them. We have been invaded with different bad cultures from the Western world. I want to thank our chairman, our honorable members of Parliament, and His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, who is the chief patron of patriotism, for standing firm and saying no to homosexuality and lesbianism.
The Deputy Commissioner in charge of patriotism in the Office of the President, Magom Mubarak Tip, teaches to help students live a responsible life. He urged teachers to involve students in gainful work by prioritizing agriculture for income to households and fight food insecurity.
The issue of hard work. Let's involve ourselves in doing gainful work as students. And you should know that creation of wealth cannot come for free. Let us make all our children in schools participate in agriculture, because it's an activity that makes everybody to earn. Even when you're in senior one, think about how do we create wealth.
And in business, Minister of State for Works Musa Icheru has issued an ultimatum of 2 weeks to Amuria district officials to disburse over 10 billion shillings so far received by the district for parish development model. This follows a complaint raised by the beneficiaries over slow processing of the funds by the district's technical team.
Amuria local government has so far received over 10 billion shillings for the implementation of parish development model project.
Now me and my LC3 chairpersons
know that they have the capacity to deliver this critical program.
But the district technical team and Opportunity Bank attributed it to poor network leading to the delayed disbursement of the funds.
The pariships are facing a lot of challenges on network when it comes on processing the passwords for the beneficiaries. We find that maybe being in a remote area and rural areas, that's why they are finding the issue of the challenge with network.
Minister of State for Works, Musa Echweru, also Area MP, has instructed the concerned authorities to rectify the system.
My advice to the management of Opportunity Bank Soroti is that they must burn their midnight candles to deliver this program. In the next 2 weeks, we want all the money to have been given out to the beneficiaries. This will help our people, those particularly who have picked enterprises that are to do with farming. The rains have returned, and the rains have a time frame, a time period. In the next 1 month or so, there will be no rain here again. So we want by then they should have planted.
Echweru also contributed over 600,000 shillings towards the procurement of forms for the PDM loan applicants.
Journalists have been advised to research content in order to give competent information to the public. The UBC consultant on parish development model in a training of UBC West Epikahona radio staff members in Barara, Constantine Batuyaki, tipped journalists on how to report on the PDM.
Our activity is called PDM funds monitoring. And at this material time, we are meeting our staff over all the 11 stations so that they clearly understand the roles of the UBC is going to play in ensuring that the coverage of PDM funds that are being released, how they are being used, and in case there are positives or negatives, they are able to communicate that and also educate the public on how to get this money and use it.
I encourage all of you to get involved in the parish development model program. Get involved. So journalists must do research. They must inquire where they feel they not understood very well. The PDM Secretariat has provided for us someone from the Secretariat who we are moving with, and so basically the information is at their disposal. It is up to them to do the research.
We still need sensitization. Not only the local leaders, even the farmers. Our local people are not very much aware of what is going on. They need to be sensitized so that they can learn more about PDM. Who is supposed to benefit? How are we supposed to benefit it? How are we supposed to form groups? Some people don't know about it. Even some leaders are not sensitized about it. So this goes back to the Secretariat. Yes.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108 MP triple camera and 68 watts fast charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3 GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
So when you pay your taxes, you are investing in the future of Uganda.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda.
Chebagala ogamba nti sente yula eze tukunganyamu zezimala okukola ebintu bino byonna enguudo amasomero ebye n'ebintu ebirala. Mzee aba basajja basoza sente nyingi nnyo olaba boda boda banza ke miliyoni aga miliyoni ana zo wa boda
olowooza atunda okutunza emmere wa restaurant.
Nyabo, sigo wa restaurant. Muchere, nyama bisi. Ngoba milioni nkaga.
Echi?
Ngari katachanza alina ka washing bin na kabala. Mzee, kaza yake bofude bufi. Chichi?
Leka nawo. Lekera okulimba. URA era omusolo gwe bayita presumptive tax. Oba guyita omusolo ogwafa oba business obutono
obuyingiza yange.
Ate oba olina okukuuma ebitabo byonna byonna ebikwata ku business yo. Ate ekyangu kwe kugenda gwe kennyini n'obensooka n'obatwalira ebitabo bino ku ofiisi zaabwe eza URA ezikuli okumpi. Awo ne babeera nga bagerekera omusolo omutuufu.
Ekitegeeza bali olina kwetega beetege.
Bwe beetege bweteze osirike.
Ekitegeeza zo onyannyiba bulimbi.
Era bwe ate baakulimba nnyo. Kubanga ate mu ababoda mwena sasula emitwalo ejja omwaka.
Mitwalo ebiri?
Kale mpulira gwe ssebo obwedde oyogera ebigambo nga babikunyumiza n'otulimba abantu abakulu.
Anyumiriza.
Wamutaka kutunnyonnyole.
URA ekujjukiza okusasula omusolo gwo ogwa presumptive tax. Guno gwe musolo ogusasulwa abo abaddukanya bizinesi entono era gusinziira ku nnyingiza ya bizinesi yo nga gusasulwa omulundi gumu buli mwaka gw'ebyensimbi. Genda mu ssimu yo onyige kamunyenye 285 kadaala oba sasula ng'okozesa mobile money oba mu bank oba kozesa ba mobile agents. Uganda Revenue Authority, tukulaakulanyize wamu Uganda.
MTN Uganda ne Uganda waranji batusako manrane chikonatera tekobuseko season yakuna savu July kuma Mount Papa's Hall usasule kwa MTN mobile money usasula gumu chitundu MTN usasule nega 15 iga stemu kagatano stamu enda munana hasha kwa MTN ufune tiketi yokati wabula kumulyango usasule mitwale 2 yepe mitwale 5 ate meza ya milioni 2 munana July koni ni hotel mkono wenda July ni can resort weza 15 July France Africa Jinja Habili mbili July Maria Flema Saka Habili mwenda July Afro Club Eka Sangati Ate yoyo noku yingi na mutualo Wafujinidwa musente Talent Africa Victoria University Suzu Property Consultants Pepsi Max Uganda Warranty Ne
MTN.
Uganda sports administrators have engaged in the National Council of Sports organized forum at which they deliberate with the State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang.
Uganda's State Minister for Sports, Peter Ogwang, has issued a warning to federations that set a low remuneration for athletes, yet budgetary allocation on other projects is enormous.
I have cases where you federations, I am an athlete. I got to represent Uganda. I am the one who goes to run. I'm the one who goes to sweat. I'm the one who goes to the ring. But do you know how much you budget for me? 55,000. Can you imagine? How much is in dollars 55,000? Isn't it $15? You are abusing us. These people are doing this, these people are doing this. But what budget are you giving a person who is going to be in the ring, who is going to run, who is going to sweat $55 to $15? And Obama must sit there, Honorable Minister, I am to watch someone who is getting $15. Can you imagine? And you're saying Obama should not say a word in that over my dead body. I promise you, it will never happen during my tenure. And I have told the First Lady, this one we are not going to accept.
This was during the Sports Forum, which is an initiative by National Council of Sports to regularly engage sports federations to grow and develop sport.
With this kind of spirit that I saw around the appropriating body, most likely we could have even gotten maybe close to 100 billion, maybe. Okay? So let's clean house. Let's clean house. We noted that a number of you have put your own priorities when it comes to when we requested you to allocate resources. You have allocated resources to your priorities, not our priorities.
The 48 billion shillings budgetary allocation to sports dominated deliberations, with many questioning a Federation of Uganda Football Association's cut of 17 billion shillings, with the minister calling for calm from members while tasking FUFA on results to justify.
I'm happy to get you here. What is my pressure? Results. Yes, I want to speak now as the Minister of Sports. My pressure is results. All these people are complaining that we give you too much money and the results are not coming out. The results are declining. Now from my side, what is my problem? I want results.
He also talked about the incoming sports law, which government plans to respect to the dot.
The law is going to require all of you to reapply. All of you federations, according to the new sports law, once accepted, you must first all reapply. At this time, Mr. Chairman, I have seen the minister, no federation which does not meet its required no federation before fulfilling all its requirements should be registered.
As part of celebrations to mark 5 years, the Fortbet Rail Stars Sports Monthly Awards will increase the stipend for its winners.
At the end of this year, the Fortbet Rail Stars Sports Monthly Awards will celebrate 5 years of existence. To ensure athletes are the biggest beneficiaries as the awards celebrate the milestone, Chief Executive Officer Isaac Mukasa has announced improvement in the reward that he expects to boost competition in many Uganda leagues. This was during the award of the Best of June at Lazio Restaurant in Kololo.
We are celebrating 5 years in existence, so we can't stay the same as we started. That's why we are increasing the package to 500,000 in our envelopes. We want the winners to take, at least to take something substantial. And remember, we started with 100K in an envelope, we came to 200K, we came to 300K. We've been moving so slowly, but now this is the 5th year. We said we have to increase it at least, so that each winner comes hoping to think that he's taking something which is almost equivalent to the salary he's earning for playing the thing. So we think it's going to motivate these guys more and more, so that we have a health competition in different disciplines. At the end of the day, we have a strong national teams in various sports disciplines.
I believe this is a very strong initiative, the Fortbet Real Star Awards for the sports fraternity, because first of all it brings together the sportsmen. Secondly, it encourages them to work hard.
6 athletes, including table tennis youngster Pavin Nangonzi, motocross rider Gift Sebuguzi and Special Olympics medalist Larry Fenny, were rewarded.
Competitively, he has not been in the game for long. Competitively, he was swimming before, but then the competitive game, he joined 2019 up to now, and he has given it his best for top performance.
Others were handball player Edward Omoni. The Moil Raleigh team are represented by Yasin Nassa and cricket player Henry Senyondo.
This award means quite a lot for us as a team, the Moil Raleigh team. It's the 4th year, it's the 4th time we're winning this year, and it's quite an inspiration for us.
The Fortbet Real Stars Sports Monthly Awards have been a mainstay since 2018, with Jude Color Solutions one of the other partners.
That is all we had for you tonight. Thanking you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa, wishing you the best of the night. I'll leave you with Molen Kenyana here, who has the weather focused report.
Welcome to tonight's weather report. My name is Molen Kenyana. Now we're looking at moist southeasterly winds that are coming in from the Indian Ocean towards our country, and those have been responsible for much of the rainy conditions that we have seen today, even for the last couple of days. That is across parts of eastern Uganda as well as the northern sector. We continue to see those coming in. At the same time, we also have effects of the local effects, enhancement of Lake Victoria. That means that we're also continuing to see rains, especially across the Lake Victoria Basin. And from this, we can anticipate that tomorrow in the morning we'll start off with mostly a clear day for much of central. We'll have some mixture of clouds and sunshine, whereas for the eastern part of the country, we'll see rains developing in the morning across several places, but also that will be in small quantities. Looking at the western part of the country, we'll have upward sunshine that will be blending in with clouds. That is across much of that sector. across the northern part of the region, we'll be looking at rains across the Karamoja region, the central north. Otherwise, much of it will also be dominated by sunny intervals. Later, as we cross over into the afternoon, we'll see some rains developing for the central Lake Victoria basin, but the rest of central will be having mostly a mix of clouds and sunshine. And looking at most of the areas across eastern Uganda, we'll continue with those rains. Temperatures will be going up to 28 for most of these regions, and most of that will be accompanied by thunder showers. While looking at the western part of the country, we'll continue with mostly sunny conditions that will be with cloudy intervals with a maximum of 30 degrees that will be across Kasese. And the northern part of the country, we're forecasting rainy conditions again in the afternoon. That will be for the central area as well as the Karamoja region. We'll also be looking at a slight reduction when it comes to West Nile. And going across borders, we are forecasting sunny conditions that will be across Cairo as well as Dubai. Nairobi is expected to have mostly a mix of clouds and quite some cool weather over there. We're also forecasting cloudy conditions that will be for London. We'll leave it at that. That's the weather report for tonight. My name is Molin Kenyina. Have a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Imagine how different life would be without accessible clean water. Yet, this is the reality of life for 2.1 billion people worldwide, mostly women and children. Poverty and lack of clean water go hand in hand, and a key component to eliminating poverty is having access to safe water. Women and children who often spend up to 6 hours every day collecting water, and because so much time is devoted to that task, it inhibits women from working to generate a livelihood, and it dramatically reduces children's time for education.
Mukirongole kyebeta twaweza twasoma emisomo era emisomo egyo gyatuyamba kuba twaide eno ku community twatandika okukola emirimu gyaife nga batukola kinga batusomesa tutambule twagale ebinankani ebiruma abantu mu kyalo buti bwe twatambule waife ntwafunanga ekyamaadhi nekyali ekiti ekibyeino mpigana emisomo egyo twajja okuvaamu ngera tufunyemu ensulo twafuna mu bowe eno twafuna mu pipe to water ensulo bakali kumaliza dona bakali dimaliza kale mpigana awo wetusabira singa gabawo ensonga eyindi batuyambe nayikonte dikoleki diwe abantu banwa amadi tuidinga ekyalo kidakuganulwa mu nsonga yakunywa amadi twalinga tuli bubino ino aye enkosonga yatulaweza yatuyamba era yatununula ino.
When any part of a community is marginalized this way, as it was in Bubusa village, Namutumba district, its social and economic development suffers.
We have accessed or we have achieved a lot. In the very first instance, it's a requirement that when you do a design, it has to be approved by the ministry before you implement it. So we have secured the approval. The letter is here.
In Bubusa village, following the sub-county dialogue meeting, the district water office committed to constructing a borehole and mini-piped water system. On January 13, 2022, a mini-piped solar water project was launched and a borehole was drilled.
We have already drilled a production well. We are going to raise the elevated tank. That will be phase 1. So as we talk, I think this very week we are going to hand over the site to the contractor for the construction.
In this village, the community, through the support of the change agents, identified the inadequate safe water as their biggest challenge there. And so they've been able to engage with that problem in that village through the support of weather, via this project. In the dialogue meetings, these issues were presented in May 2021, and I'm happy to report that the responsiveness of the district has been such that Bubu's